doing this wig. Thought I'll just come on, do a little story time. That's how I'm going to do a little story time about, y'all see in the title, My Perfect Neighbor. I watched a documentary, My Perfect Neighbor, and it was sad. Let me tell you, it was sad, and I cried watching those kids cry. If you have not watched it, I recommend go watch it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And every time I start recording, somebody starts texting like. But anyways, let me set up my phone right and let's start talking. That's the best I could do, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't want to go through my closet and get my freaking tripod out because I know I got everything packed. I'm trying to straighten my hair. Anyways, hold on, this is not gonna work neither. God, what the freak? Hold on. I put it right there. Can y'all see me good? That's good though. That's good enough right there. That is, oh my God, okay, that's perfect. All right, I ain't gotta move that too much. It's okay, baby. I have y'all sitting on my cat house looking. My cat got up and looking at me like, what the hell's your problem? What the hell you doing? Messing with my bed. He's so cute. Okay, don't move. All right, so watching that documentary gave me like a little idea to talk about my perfect neighbor. And I'm gonna make this real fast, right? I don't want to make a video no longer than 10 minutes because I know going over 10 minutes is like a little bit overdoing it, and people don't want to sit there and watch a video in full. If it's more than 20 minutes, especially if they get bored, you know, I don't blame them. Anyways, damn, I should buy my makeup bag. No, I can wait. Okay. If you're new to my channel, guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie. I really appreciate y'all guys coming to my channel. If you have not subscribed to my channel, go subscribe now before you forget, right? All right. Okay, so a little story time about my perfect neighbor, right? She's really not a perfect neighbor. If you never watched a documentary, you don't know what I'm talking about. The title of that documentary I'm talking about, they're being kind of smart saying the perfect neighbor because she really was a Karen and a mean lady. I gotta go watch the documentary. I don't want to ruin for nobody. I don't know if any of y'all guys watched it before. I recently watched it yesterday, so I kept on coming across people talking about it on my newsfeed, on my TikTok feed and Instagram feed and my YouTube feed. I'm like, what the hell? I gotta go watch this movie. My cat is on looking at me like, why is your phone on my bed? It's okay, baby. So we had a neighbor one time, right? She moved out. She literally moved out because of me. I did not want to kick her out. And this is currently the spot that I'm living at right now. If you were on my live before, you heard about this story time on my live because I talked about it one time on my live, okay? But that was a long time ago, so don't move, baby. He's trying to get comfortable. Anyways, I got lost of thought when I seen the message come through because the message haven't came through at all for like the past hour. Now all of a sudden I get to recording and I start getting messages. Come on, stop. Okay, so I used to let my son go play outside all the time, right? Because right here where I stay at, it's a big area. We could play outside. There's a gazebo right there with a barbecue pit, a table, all that good stuff. Which I'm gonna go out there in a couple of days. I'm gonna go barbecue, sit out there with my kids, have their schoolwork. I mean, have them outside their laptops, doing work while I'm barbecuing. I can barbecue, okay? Yes, I can. I barbecued already by myself, all right? Now I almost burnt down my place, but that's a whole other story. But I got the fire going though, and yes, I had to throw away the first batch of meat, but that's besides all that. I used to let my son go play outside with his little friends right here, and him and his little friends started doing that ding dong ditching knocking stuff. We used to call it another word, okay? And I don't even want to say that word because people start thinking I'm racist, and you know, which if you're from Houston, guys, we use that word a lot, but a lot of people really do get offended by it, and I understand. But like, if you're not from Houston, you're not gonna understand. Anyways, I used to let him go play outside all the time with his little friends. So after that issue, I stopped letting him go outside. I'm like, look, I don't want to be out here arguing with people outside. You just can't go outside no more, okay? Because my son, he can get into stuff and he can get into trouble. I've talked about this before. So anyways, he knocked at the wrong door, and this lady was like mad. So this lady went to the office, snitched to the office, and gave him my apartment number and everything, and said, you know, remind you, the first day that lady moved here, she was already complaining about the kids playing right here. The first day she was here. Nobody's ever complained about the kids playing right here, because we don't have like a pool, we don't have a playground or anything right here we live at, you know. There's not even small kids over here in my area, honestly. Like, it's real quiet right here where I live at. In the bottom down here, it's real quiet and peaceful. You'll never hear nothing going on. So my husband went out there and made like a homemade basketball goal and stuff for my son and his friends that he used to play with, you know, when he used to go to school. I know my kids don't go to public school no more. So anyways, him and his friends decided to go do ding dong, ditching, knocking, or whatever y'all call it. The kids call it something else, okay? And that lady went to the office, reported. She already had a problem with the kids playing outside since day one. She came outside and told all the kids, y'all need to go somewhere else and play. She's a Hispanic lady, you know? So she's telling them in Spanish, y'all gotta go, la 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 la, you know? And so my son came upstairs, but he came upstairs, you know, a while after that and told me. He didn't tell me right when it was happening, because if he would have told me, I would have went over there and said something. And not to be rude or start mess. I'm not the type of mom to go out there and cuss out people outside. Like, that's just ghetto and ratchet to me. I don't do that. Just the other day I was at the store, there was his mom doing that in front of her kids, like screaming and like top of her lungs because somebody told her kids something or something like that. I don't even know. But anyway, that's ratchet. That's ghetto. I'm not gonna do all that. Okay, I can act a little ratchet, but I ain't that ratchet like that. Like, what? Like, why do parents act like this in front of their kids? Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Son came upstairs, he started telling me, Mom, you know that apartment right here? He's pointing to it, whatever. You know, ladies moved in there and she was screaming at us earlier, telling us we couldn't be outside, we couldn't play right here. And I was like, the heck? Anyways, I let that slide. I didn't say anything. I was like, well, you know what, Daddy? My son's talking about me, my oldest son. I'm like, well, you know what, Daddy? So I call my youngest son Daddy, and I call my oldest son Daddy. So anyways, I was like, you know what, Daddy? Just don't play over there by that lady's door no more, even though the lady lives upstairs way in the corner. Like, the kids are not bothering her nowhere down here. Like, they're nowhere near her place. So I'm like, why in the hell is she giving y'all a problem? So anyways, I was like, just don't go near that lady's door at all, because I don't want no issues, and I don't want to have to go out there and say something to somebody, because it's not just me. I'm not gonna go out there and be rude. I'll come at her, but in a respectful way, right? But my husband, on the other hand, he will go out there and he will flip out. He will. My cousin. I said that because my cousin just texted me. My husband doesn't play, like, especially when it comes to stuff like that. Like, do not tell his kids nothing, you know. Anyways, here comes another time, and she tells my son something again, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with this lady? Like, you just moved here. You only been here for a couple of days. Like, what is the issue? You know, I was tripping out. So anyways, time went by. She told my son something 4 different times, and I never told this lady anything, because honestly, I never came just across her like that. After the second time, I was like, when I see this lady, I'm gonna ask her, like, what is the issue? You know, like, what's the problem? Like, what is my son doing? 'Cause I know my son was knocking at people's doors and running and, you know, doing that with his friends. So I got after him for that. I was like, you're not gonna be doing that. Like, no, you know. So anyways, if my son is in the wrong, I will say it. Sorry, my thing's moving because my cat just jumped on top of his house, my other cat. And so, baby, my cats are out of control. Like, my phone fell again. Okay, so anyways, a couple of days passed, right? She got after my son a couple of times, and I never said anything. So, because I told my son, like, what are you doing? Because, like, she's telling something for a reason, because I knew the way my son is. Like, I already know, you know, and I'm not that mom to be like, oh, my son's perfect. Like, I'm not going to do that, okay? If he's getting in trouble, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, you know what? I believe you. He likes to get into stuff when he's not supposed to, right? So anyways, a couple of days passed, like 5 days. The lady's literally here for 5 days, okay? And so the office manager calls me and tells me, hey, this lady called me, reported, and said that your son is knocking on her door and running, and this is that. And I'm like, what the heck? So I'm like, he's still doing it? Like, you know? Because I got after him already once because of that, you know? And so I was like, what the heck? So anyways, I got after him. He got in trouble. I'm like, you're not going outside no more. Like, that's it. I'm like, you're not going outside no more. And I felt bad getting after him, even though he shouldn't be doing that, right? But I felt bad getting after him because the lady really was a mean lady, and she was just trying to freaking be mean. So anyways, She had plants all right there where she lived at, right? She lived upstairs around the corner, so she had plants going up the stairs. But she literally didn't want people walking up her stairway. People had to walk up her stairway to get to their places, but she did not want people walking up her stairway because she didn't want nobody to touch her plants or anything, right? And every time my son would walk that way with the trash, because my son has to walk that way, throw the trash out, she would tell my son something. She didn't want my son walking that way. And I'm like, oh, this lady's overdoing it now. Like, you're overdoing it now. I ended up seeing her. So anyway, when the manager told me that, I ended up seeing her a couple days after that. And I was coming up the stairs and she was walking past me, and she like smiled at me, you know, like trying to be nice. And I'm like, no, you're not gonna be nice. You've been getting after my son. You've been telling my son a lot of stuff and I haven't told you anything. So anyways, I stopped her and I said, hey, this is my son. I know you know who my son is because you reported me to the office because you gave my apartment number. This is my son that you reported. Like, what's going on? You know, like, what did he do? You know, and I came at her in a nice way. I swear I came at her in a nice way in Spanish, you know, and I was like, you know, ya tengo mucho tiempo que quiero hablar contigo y quería preguntarte cosas de mi hijo porque me habló la manager de la oficina, me estaba diciendo que, you know, you're complaining about my son, right? I'm sorry, I'm everywhere because I keep on getting text messages and it's like freaking distracting the crap out of me. So I was like, you know, ya tengo mucho que quiero hablar contigo, you know, me puedes decir qué pasó, qué hizo mi hijo, or, you know, like, I told her in Spanish though, like, let me know what happened, like, what did my son do to you, like, what happened, you know, you could talk to me, you know, whatever. And she's like, the office manager called you and told you that I reported you? And I was like, yeah, she called me and she told me, you know, that you reported my son. So like, you know, what did my son do, what happened? And she was like, the manager should never called you, which is true. And she's like, the manager should never called you and told you anything, whatever, you know, that was messy of her, you know. She's like, your son was knocking on my door, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I know, but before my son knocked on your door, you got after my son. You were already telling my son stuff. And I told her, I'm like, the first day you moved here, you got after my son. You were telling my son stuff, which is something you should not do. You should not get after nobody's kids. These are not your kids. If you have a problem, I told her, you should come to my house, not tell my son something. And she was like, no, yeah, I understand, but your son was, you know, walking around here with other kids, and they were walking by my stairs, touching my plants and this and that. And I'm like, I got plants all in front of my door, even though I don't have plants no more in front of my door, because at one point some kids were living over, they moved over here. They don't live over here no more though. They were only here for a couple of months and they left. And they were like picking at all my plants. If y'all know, guys, I love plants. Like, plants just give me life. Now I got all my plants. I got all my plants in my back patio now, because I didn't want people picking at my plants. I didn't go out there and tell the kids nothing because those are not my kids. I'm like, I'll just move my plants. They're kids being kids, like, you know, whatever. So anyways, she got mad because the manager told me what she had said. So she called the manager, told the manager, like, I told you something that's supposed to be confidential, and you told the lady, and the lady's confronting me. So the manager calls me, is like, the lady came to the office and told me you confronted her. I'm like, Jessica, that's the manager's name. I'm like, I didn't confront her in an ugly way. I came at her in a nice way. She was giving me an attitude. And Jessica was like, yeah, I understand. She's starting to be like that with me too. Like, she's starting to complain about every little thing since day one. So anyways, Jessica was like, she's moving out. She said she's moving out. And I'm like, dang, is it that serious? Like, nobody's doing nothing to you. Like, what is your issue? She was just she was literally a witch. Like, for real, she was a witch. Because let me tell you, before she had left, the people that were living next to her had a camera at their window, because they said they wanted to catch her doing it, because they said that somebody kept on going by their door and leaving powder, like spreading powder by their door. Like, that's some witch stuff, if you ask me. My cat. And so the manager was telling me, you know, well, good thing she's gonna leave, because honestly, I have people that live around her that's reporting her and saying that she's pouring powder by people's doors, and people don't know why she's doing that, but they don't know it's her. But everybody's thinking it's her because everybody has an issue with her, or she has an issue with everybody around her, which she had issues since day one. So anyways, one of the people that lived next to her put a camera at their window, and they wanted to see if they could catch her doing it, and they caught her doing it. Like, she was literally walking by their door, acting like she was passing by their door to go to the stairway. And she didn't have to go that way to go down the stairway, because she had a stairway from her apartment. But she was going all the way around to pass by their apartments to do what she was doing. And she was going by the apartments, and she was like saying stuff. They couldn't hear what she was saying, but she was like mumbling, and she was putting powder by the door. Like, that is some witch stuff right there. And so anyways, before she had moved out, she had threw a lot of her pots like that right there by the stairs, like put them in like weird positions and weird ways. Like like doing like some voodoo stuff or something. I don't know. That's something I could think of. And I don't believe in stuff like that. Now I don't entertain stuff like that. But she did that before she had left. Remind you guys, she moved right across the street from me. So now I see her all the time. When we go to the same corner store right here, because I have 2 corner stores where I live at on both sides. I see her. And she don't ever tell me nothing though. She looks down. You can tell she's like scared to say something, which I would never tell her anything. I'm not that type of person to go out and like cause problems. Like I'm not like that, you know. Like unless she cause problems with me, then I'll just won't go around you. You know, I don't want nothing to do with you. But like I'm not gonna sit there and argue, you know, with you. So anyways, yeah, that's a little something about my perfect neighbor. She, come to find out, she was the little witch, and she was like plotting on everybody around here, and like had a problem with everybody around here. She was the problem. Nobody else was the problem but her, you know. And so I told the manager straight out. I tried to talk to her nice. She came at me ugly. I'm not gonna talk to her again. The manager's like, don't worry about it. Don't tell her anything no more. She's moving out. We ain't gotta deal with her no more. I was like, dang, she only lived here for like 2-3 weeks, and she's moving out already. And so I'm like, wherever she moves at, I pray for those people, because she does some evil stuff. Like, you know, like why is she spreading powder in front of people's doors? Do any of y'all guys know what that is? If you come across my video and you watch this video, let me know if you ever heard of anything like that. If you ask me, that's some witch stuff, you know. Like normal people just don't do stuff like that. That's just what I think. I don't know. I need to finish doing my hair for real. I gotta go. I'm gonna go to the store and buy me a couple of things that I need. And I wanted to get this little thing for my granddaughter for like Halloween. I hate this little thing right here. Like, can you just stay over here? Like, I don't want you over there. You see how you don't look cute like that? I need you to stay like that. See how there's a difference? See the difference like that? You see like that? No, I need you like this. Stay this way. Stay that way. Why does it still look funny? Anyways, that is my perfect neighbor. Hope you enjoy little story time, guys. Be careful with your neighbors. Be careful what you say, what you do, because you don't know what people could put on you, what kind of spells. You just don't know. I'm just saying. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.